Hello everyone, I'm Urza47, and this is episode 1 of a new series, Urza Masters Orion. Now, you might be wondering, why is it called Urza Masters Orion if you're looking at a screen here that says Remnants of the Precursors? Well, Remnants of the Precursors is a modern remake of Master of Orion 1, that classic game from, I think, 1993, that I've played and enjoyed so much over the years. It's basically the same game with a few small tweaks and adjustments. And we're going to play through it here for you, and I think you're all going to like it a whole lot. I know I certainly will. So we'll go ahead and get started here. There are 10 different races to choose from. They all play very differently. They all have a unique advantage, like the Mentarans here, previously known as the Cylons, are basically really good at researching technology. All of these races also have different... apart from the Mentarans here, who are good at everything. Every race also has certain technological affinities, like they research certain tech fields better than other races do, and they also have differing diplomatic affinities. So each race is more predisposed to like or dislike them. There's like a matrix of that in the manual. But here today we're going to be playing the Chrysonoids, more properly known as the Silicoids in Master of Orion 1. The names of these races, except for the humans, obviously, all had to be changed for copyright reasons, but it's usually pretty obvious which is which, and I'll say so verbally as well. Like we have the Sakra here, the Cylons, the Klakens, and so on. So we'll reflect the old name in the home world here, Silicoidia, and we'll use my own name for the leader here. And I like playing red. So you can play with an absurdly large galaxy size here. Like this goes all the way up to the maximum integer size that you can have in Java, which is 686,000. No one would ever play that much unless you're like insane. We're gonna play with a still large map of 100. I mean, 100's not that big, but I mean, you can play with hundreds and hundreds. That just seems kind of bonkers to me, but we'll stick with 100. That's a pretty good number, and we'll play with 9 rival empires, which will allow every alien race in the game to be present once. I think it will distribute them as evenly as possible. Like it's not going to double up until everyone's appeared once, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And we're also going to play the Magnar AI. It's just a fancier AI. It just plays a little bit better. There's also another one in here called the Zilmi AI. That one is ruthlessly effective at the cost of potentially not being as fun to play against unless you're looking for a really competitive game. But we'll play this one that still has different AI personalities. Isn't quite as ruthless all the time as the other one is, but it still plays a pretty good game. And we'll play on the normal level, which might be too easy. I normally play on harder levels, at least in the first Master. And I haven't played this a whole lot yet, so we'll see how that goes. As far as advanced game options, we'll leave all of these on the default, but I'll bring it up here so you can take a look at them. There's a bunch of different stuff here that you can do. But I think the default options here are the game as it exists in the first Master of Orion. So let's get started. Oh, I should talk about what my race actually does. So let's back up a little bit. Oh, I lost all of that. What a shame. Okay. Anyway, the Silicoids. I'm not sure if I've ever played the Silicoids before, actually, at least in the proper computer game. But the cool thing about the Silicoids is normally you have to research different types of planetology technology in order to settle certain hostile environments. The Silicoids don't have to do that. The Chrysons, they can settle wherever they want to from the very beginning of the game, which is a pretty huge advantage. The downside is that they only grow at half as fast as anyone else. So that's a pretty severe handicap, because colony growth is how you grow your economic engine. But you can still but basically this allows you for all of the early game and much of the mid game, actually, you can expand pretty much at will, because there's going to be a bunch of planets out there that only you are going to be able to settle. And your opponents are just not going to be in your way. No, I need to increase this first, because this has enough room for 9 empires. There we go. So with 10 total empires and 100 systems, we're going to be averaging about 10 systems per race, at least in theory. But because of our cool ability, we're probably going to get a lot more than 10 without having to fire a shot. Just because we can settle a lot of these planets that nobody else can. So we're going to look to take advantage of that. Anyway, let's get started. The Chrysonoid Imperium. The year is 12,414. As the Imperium ends its search of Chryslon's desiccated surface, the Chrysonoid find themselves unable to locate even the remotest trace of their eternal enemy Quarrelon and his nefarious brood, as the sole inhabitants of a planet otherwise entirely devoid of life. The Chrysonoids know that they must now leave their homeworld to locate their foes and hopefully eliminate them once and for all. In the hopes of dealing a devastating first strike to the children of Quarrelon, the Chrysonoids have rushed to develop the technology that will enable them to traverse the infinite sea of worlds. As the reigning Crystal Emperor, you have galvanized the Chrysonoids from all walks of life on this noble crusade against a faceless nemesis, and prepared every facet of the Imperium to do whatever is necessary to expunge the threat of your ancient foe. Should your people succeed, all life in the galaxy will rejoice in your victory. Should your people fail, the toll of your defeat will be more terrible than you can even comprehend. Dramatic much? These stories weren't in the first Master of Orion, but they're a pretty cool addition to Remnants of the Precursors, I have to say. This is the cool help screen that it begins with, because it thinks I haven't played the game before, but I actually have. And we've got an advisor here. Yeah, I already know how all this works, but I'll leave each page here up for a few seconds. You can pause the video and take a look at it if you want to. Map controls. This all works about how I would expect it to. God Emperor, your scouts stand prepared to escort the first colony ship to any world you desire. Give the order and your will be done. That's actually a very good point. I actually can send my colony ship to literally any world I desire, because I can settle anywhere. The only risk is that there's like a couple of star systems that don't have any worlds at all on them, and I'll be kind of sad if I send my colony ship there. But first, let's zoom out and see where we are in the grand scheme of things. So we're over here on this, I guess you can call it the eastern side of the map. Terrestrial geography doesn't really apply here. But it looks, we're hopefully gonna have this whole side of the galaxy. At least that's what I'm hoping for. We'll see whether that actually happens or not. Apologies for the video issues you may have noticed. For some reason, this game doesn't play nice with borderless window mode in OBS, so I had to reconfigure a little bit, but hopefully this should be a lot smoother. So anyway, as I was saying, we're over here on the eastern part of the galaxy, and hopefully we'll be able to settle as many of these worlds as we can. Interestingly, we also have a pretty big series of nebulas over here to our west. So, and there's actually not a whole lot of star systems in them, although there's this neutron star, there's a couple purples there. There's a pretty big void of stars right here, right to our west. So we're going to want to expand up and down, north and south, basically. So initially, let's take a look at our colony here, Silicoidia. We have 50 million silicoids living on this planet, and it can accommodate 100. We've also got 30 factories. We don't have any shields or bases or any of that. So right now we're putting all of our money into industry, which is actually a little bit unusual. Normally, some of your money would go into ecology here to offset the waste that your factories produce. Factories normally produce waste. They don't produce waste if you're playing the Chryslons. They just don't produce waste at all. So we can put all of our money into industry, all of our net 44. So our gross production here is 56. We're only actually getting 44 of it. Now I'm wondering why that is. Probably the maintenance on our fleet here. So I can mouse over here and we can see that we have 2 scouts and a colony ship. That colony ship is probably really expensive. If I click on this here, I can see, oh yeah, we're spending 20% of our gross GDP on ship maintenance. Most of that is probably on the colony ship. Excuse me. Yeah, so we're going to want to use that as quickly as possible. So these two circles you see around Silicoidea here are our fuel range. You have an innate fuel range based on your fuel technology, which I'll explain how that works in a little bit. But basically what you need to know is this inner circle here that's highlighted in red. That is the range that all of my ships can go. And this outer circle here is how far I can go if I have extended fuel tanks, which my scouts do. So I can actually look at fleets here. Oh, not fleets, designs. And you can see the scout here has reserve fuel tanks, which extends its range by 3 light years. The colony ship doesn't, it just has a colony base. So we can click on this here. We'll send just the colony ship, and we can send it to either of these two places. Let's actually figure this out. So there's an orange star here that we can use. It has a wide range of planetary types. And a white star that generally has hostile. Well, I don't want a hostile planet, at least not right away. Although I could settle it, in all likelihood. Well, a guaranteed likelihood as long as it's not completely empty. But we'll send the colony ship over there. And we'll send one scout. And we'll send one over there. And we'll send the other down here. And we're going to want to explore this one up here to the north as well. But for now, we just want to get our scouts going. And we're generating 4.4 factories per year based on our industrial spending, because our factories cost 10 BCs, which is what these are. These are in billions of credits. 10 BCs per year. Or it costs 10 BCs to build one in a year. And you can see that if we click on tech here, some of the base rules of the game is basically that pertain to technology. Because technology doesn't just unlock new things, a lot of the technologies sort of change the rules of the game. So this factory controls, for example, is how many factories we can have per colonist. We have 50 colonists, therefore we can have 100 factories because we can have 2 per colonist. Scanner range is 3 light years. Waste reduction. We don't have any waste reduction because we don't produce... Well, we don't have any waste reduction initially anyway, but we don't produce any waste at all because we just don't produce waste, which is pretty cool. And we don't get a ground combat bonus. We don't have any cool things down here. Notably, our ship range is 3 light years, so it's 3 light years base, and we get another 3 if we equip the extended fuel tanks. And finally, our top speed is warp 1, which is pretty slow, but we need to research propulsion tech if we want to change that, which we're not going to right now. We really want to be spending our money on industry rather than technology to begin with, because there's no good business. It's not useful to have technology if you can't actually build the technology. That's a pretty good thing to have in mind. So let's change this over to the turns. It's turn 1 rather than year 12,000 whatever. This just tells us about our colonies. There's only one. There's not a whole lot here to see. You can see the industry view or the military view, but this early in the game, a lot of these functions don't tell you a whole lot because there's not much else going on. So we'll just proceed on to the next turn, and that will probably continue for a couple turns because there's nothing much else for us to do. And you can see our population is gradually starting to grow. We're growing 1 million people per turn currently. And now you'll notice our production is going up because we're building more factories, and then we're using those factories to build yet more factories. So there's this this exponential growth curve that you want to try to be on as much as you can. So one more turn and this colony ship will arrive. Hopefully there's a great planet there for us to settle. A gear is this white system we discovered, and it's minimal, but it's also rich. Ooh, doubled output from industry. That's pretty cool. We also have an irradiated planet over here, which normally would be very difficult to colonize, but because we're the Chrysalons, we can just colonize it right away. Now, part of me wants to fly over here to the rich planet, but we're not going to do that. You want to start settling as fast as you can, because it'll take a bunch of turns to fly over there. Oh, that's neat. You can click on this and put a color-coded flag on it. That's neat. Do you want to build a new colony? Yes, we do. In the year 12417, the Chrysanoid Imperium forms a new colony. And here he comes out of the colony ship. We are claiming this irradiated world in the name of the Chrysanoid Imperium. And we can adjust its allocations, but we don't want to. We just want to build industry. Excuse me. Do you want us to send more transports to support your dominions? Say the word and we shall comply. Indeed we shall. You want to send transports over to your new colonies because they will grow faster if they have more people on them. The ideal growth is achieved when the planet is half filled. So if we want to get this half filled, we'll want to send 13 over. But we'll just send 10 over. So let's see here. Send transports to there, and we'll send 10. Now, I understand there's some really cool interface that you can use to like mass transport your colonists. I'm not entirely sure how that works. That might be something for me to play around with off camera. Oh, apparently Silicoidia does have waste. Was I wrong? I didn't think we produced waste. Whoops. Continue. Oh, maybe it's confused because I'm sending the transports out. That could be it. Yeah, it says growth is -9, but that's because I'm sending... It's producing 1, and then we're sending 10 over to Trifill. So that's the name of that tune. This scout we want to send over to this other planet. Get some recon in on that. Okay, let's proceed to the next turn. And yeah, this is the one I was saying I was a little bit afraid of. Some systems just don't have any habitable planets at all. And if that's the case, you're just kind of boned. Which is unfortunate, because it means we can't reach this star system here at all. It's completely out of range. Because we can't settle this. So we need to get more range if we're going to be able to get there. Alas. So I guess we'll just fly up this way. In the hopes that we're going to be able to settle this and then begin to expand up here. But for right now, our game plan is still... Here, you can see the transports here. You can see our game plan here is just to expand and build our industry, and then we'll worry about technologies. So we definitely will want to build a colony ship at some point. Hypothetically, if all we wanted to do was build that, it would take 8 years to do it. Probably not a great use of money. I'd rather spend it on industry right now. Although the land grab is really important. Okay, so our Triffle is now up to 12. And hopefully this means it should start pumping out more population like this one is. Yep, there's a point of growth. Oh, a Terran planet. That's really nice. That's what we're looking for. Unfortunately, it's a little bit out of range currently. So even if we had a colony ship, we couldn't settle it. Okay, well... Yeah, I think the solution here is we really need some... Now, I think this is more than 3 light years from here to here, certainly, so... We definitely need to prioritize range technology, which is usually the case in the beginning of the game. But unfortunately, we're kind of in a cluster of stars that puts us at a disadvantage here. The good news is that it's not a huge disadvantage because we're the Chrysalons. There's a bunch of these star systems. Once we reach them, we're not at risk of them being taken away from us. We can just fly a colony ship there and take it because nobody else can, at least until much later in the game. So for now, we're just going to continue monitoring our population and our industry. So this is over half filled. And this is not quite half filled. So I probably should have sent a little more than 10. But I was concerned about... I didn't want to slow down the Silicoides growth, and I also didn't want to overfill Trifill. So we'll just keep tapping the new turn key a little bit. Oh, you know, I might have screwed this up. Because I have more... I'm surprised it didn't alert me to that. It's letting me build more factories than I can actually use. Okay, actually, let me... we're gonna back the train up a little bit, which I normally don't do, but it's been long enough since I've played this game. I was really expecting the game to say, "Hey, you can't... You're not going to use these factories because you don't have enough people in them." Right, let's go back to turn 10. All right, here we go. So we're going to start building the colony ship now. And let's see here. We're going to want a total of 103. So we need to build 6 more. There we go. We'll call it 6.1 per year. And we'll put the rest towards the colony ship. So that'll get us 10 years, but actually a little bit less than that because this planet will continue to grow, and as it grows, we'll gradually trickle in more industry. And this place is nowhere near getting maxed out. Okay, great. This is the perfect equilibrium. So we want like 2.1. Yeah, I guess that's fine. So with it set like this, we're getting 1 population per turn, and we're also building the 2 factories per year that one person needs to operate. And we're putting all the rest of it towards getting this colony ship so we can settle this rich planet over here. There we go. That's how this is how the game is supposed to be played. Yeah, see, like 53, 106. That is perfect. I like it. Perfect. Yep, and this is going to continue for a couple more years. We're outpacing a little bit. Yeah, because I need to adjust this a little bit because our production's going up, and therefore this fixed percentage of our industry is going beyond 2 per year. So we'll call it 1.6 per year. That's pretty good. I would rather have a small surplus than a small deficit in terms of our industry. Okay, so now here's the game here. So we want that to stay where it is. And we're going to start putting money into technology. But we still want to get this in 1 year. Or do we want technology? If we set this to 0, we can actually put the rest into the planetary reserve. But normally this would build missile bases, but I set the maximum at 0, so it's just all going to go into the reserve. Sorry. And then I can put the reserve over into this planet. And that'll allow this to grow much more rapidly. But I at least want to get some technology in here. So actually, let's do that. Let's click technology here. And we want to put all of our research spending into propulsion. We don't need any of the rest of this. At least not yet. And this will at least tell us which technologies we have available. Because in Master of Orion, as in this game as well, your research is randomized a little bit. You only have a 50% chance of any given technology actually appearing in your tech tree, which is really more of a ladder than a tree. And if it's not there, you're just not going to get it. So if we want extended range 4, I think that's in the first tier of technologies. But if it's not there, we know we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to get like 5 or 6. Or else like trade with another race for it or something. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get 76 RP. That will be good. And then we'll adjust this next turn depending on what we actually get available. Yep, we get our colony ship. And we have our scientist here with these blocky crystal things. Deuterium fuel cells. Okay, so we don't have access to the 4 light-year tech, but we do have access to the 5 light-year tech. It's going to take 820 research points. That's kind of a lot. So that's going to take 12 turns at our current spending levels to get the 820, but the actual cost is, I think, somewhere between 100 and 200% of that number. You don't know exactly when you're going to get it. So it's a while, basically. But it's the only choice here, so we're going to choose it. And we do actually need it. 741 RP. So we can see this. We can sort of see this circle here over here. This will gradually fill up as we spend RP on it. But we also have our colony ship here. We'll send that over and get that colony started. We can't actually send transports with it, by the way. You can't send transports to a star system that doesn't yet exist. I don't think. Yeah, you must select a colonized system. We can't do that. Well, I think that will do it for this first episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help the channel out a little bit, such as it is. At the very least, it will remind you when the next episode comes out, which I'll try to get. I'll try to put one of these out, at least, if not one a day, then once every 2 days or something like that. I'll see you all next time. So long.